your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
We'll have Monday Night Football for you tonight on 100.7 The Score. It's the Ravens and the Chargers from Los Angeles at SoFi. So that should be a pretty good ball game. The Chargers, man, they really have it going under their new coach, Jim Harbaugh. He's kind of remade Justin Herbert. And the Ravens could really use a win. And it's brother against brother, John Harbaugh against Jim Harbaugh.
Oh, it is.
Okay.
That is true.
So I think the last time they met was in the Super Bowl a few years ago. And John won. Is there anything like that you would be competitive against your brother? Like if you played your brother against your brother in tennis, you'd beat him, right?
Oh goodness, yes.
What would he beat you at?
Cornhole.
Cornhole. Is he really good?
He plays a lot more than I do.
He plays a lot more.
He plays in a cornhole league.
Okay.
As a matter of fact.
For my two brothers, there's really not a whole lot I could beat them in. Talking, I can beat them in talking. Could beat them in. That's about it. Got one that's smarter and one that's more athletic. The last time I think I beat my youngest brother in one-on-one basketball, he might have been in the ninth grade.
And how old were you?
I was probably freshman in college, somewhere along those lines. That was it. We were on the. I think that's the last time I played him was the time he beat me.
That's a good time to quit.
It's a good time to quit.
Can't get you back.
So anyway, that'll be probably a little bit of the focus tonight, but the main focus will be on the field of play as those two teams will play. 7 o'clock or so, the kickoff, and a reminder, the Double T 97.3 guys will be at Shotsky's Bar and Grill, which is on 82nd Street, just east of Indiana. 8 wings and a domestic draft, and you get to keep the mug, and it's $8.88, but you got to get there before 10 to do that, so it's between 7 and 10. What did you make of the Red Raider basketball team, Jamie, and their effort against Syracuse? The good guys won it 79-74.
Yeah, got to win. So that's good to see, right? Didn't shoot the three well again. No. Pretty average there, 8 for 24. Really got dominated on the glass too. That scares me. It feels like you're doing that a lot, but you still had enough to win. So that's good. And as I told you before, I don't think the Orangemen are a very good basketball team. I do not think they're going to have a good season at all. So that thing was right down to the wire. So I would tell you, I don't think it was a great trip to Brooklyn.
No. The couple things that stand out to me, you only had 3 turnovers in the game.
That's amazing. That is a fantastic stat. Yeah. That is really good stuff.
I think you went like 20
17
minutes.
assists to 3 turnovers.
Right.
Really good.
And that was going to be my next point, is that you had 17 assists on your 27 made baskets in the ball game. And then the third thing is the 17 of 21 from the free throw line. But you're right. I mean, the numbers in terms of rebounding, you get out rebounded by 9. Of course, when you have so many missed threes, it leads to long rebounds. And I'm not trying to make excuses for them, but and you only got 9 offensive rebounds. So you had 39 missed shots in the night, and you only got 9 offensive rebounds back. So that's a really, really small number.
Yeah, it's a little confusing that you're struggling to rebound as much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that means that we'll see more of Federico in the future or not. He only played 10 minutes in the contest.
Yeah, and had just a couple of points. And the other thing that stands out to me is JT Toppin drew 7 fouls and had none, and played 29 minutes and 36 seconds. Mm-hmm. And had 15 points, had a couple of assists, had 6 rebounds. Darion Williams led you with 20, and then he had 6 rebounds as well. Also in double figures was Chance McMillan. He had 15, and Elijah Hawkins had 11 on the night. The turnovers were committed by Chance McMillan and Elijah Hawkins, and I mean those guys are going to have the ball in their hands a ton. And then one that was committed by Kerwin Walton. But that's it. Three turnovers. I mean, and that's been a trait of this team. Not that they've been that low, but I mean they've had very low number of turnovers for a team that's not played a whole lot of games together. Mm-hmm. So that's really what stands out to me.
It's really cool to see Darion Williams. At the start of the season, it looked like he was truly trying to get all these newcomers, his teammates involved. He was a facilitator. He wasn't scoring as much, and then you get to Brooklyn, and he had 2 really good scoring games, and it just shows his versatility and his smarts. I think it was him being more of a passer those first few games, trying to get everybody involved and everybody comfortable, and then you can see when he really needs to, he can turn it on offensively and create for himself a little bit more.
So now they're off until Friday. They'll take on Northern Colorado on Friday night. That'll be a 7 o'clock tip-off at United Supermarkets Arena. Then a week from Wednesday, they play host to DePaul. And then a week from 2 weeks from yesterday, they're going to play A&M at the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. So it's coming fast and furious, but it's I don't know, it's a little odd for them to have a full week off, but it's kind of sometimes the quirks of the schedule as far as that's concerned. So we'll see about that. 6:38 this morning here on the Morning Drive.
You kind of wonder if there was ever a situation where maybe that Northern Colorado game was like a Tuesday game or a Monday game, and then they Tech wanting to have a game Friday night, but leading into the football game Saturday, ended up moving that thing to Friday. Yeah. I wonder if that's the case or if I just totally made that up.
Well, I mean, because
I don't know, you're a pretty smart guy.
Yeah. After the schedule wasn't released, and we knew that the A&M game was moving, so maybe that was the case where that was like, hey, Northern Colorado, we'd really like to have this. Can you come here on?
Can you move it?
Yeah, can you move it? And they're like, yeah, we're not doing anything for Thanksgiving. Sure, we'll come to Lubbock.
We'll pay you this much. Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, right. What time is dinner?
Oh, you need your budget for the athletic you're taking care of? Gotcha. We can make that happen. Yep.
We can help you. We can help you with that. 6:39.
Take a check or do you need in cash?
This morning here on the Morning Drive. This day in sports history is next, and a local lucky winning word. You can win like Ethan Evans did on Friday. $250 from Double T 97.3 and the Home Zone.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Shocking, we haven't even had Thanksgiving yet, which will be Thursday. But with this day in sports history, here is Jeff McGuire.
Gonna need a ruling on something when we get to it.
Okay.
We may be adding something today, like in our vault, but we'll get to it. 1949, though, is where we will start with Ted Williams winning the AL MVP. 1951, Cleveland Browns halfback Dub Jones ties an NFL record for most touchdowns in a game with 6. 4 rushing, 2 catching in a 42-21 win over the Bears at Cleveland Stadium. That's a really good day. 1969, Kansas City outfielder Lou Piniella is voted the AL Rookie of the Year. He then gets tossed for arguing a call.
That was really, I think, before he was angry.
Yeah, that was more of his managerial career than as a player. But
he was feisty. He was my first favorite baseball player.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
1978. Juan Reed's quarterback sneak touchdown and 2-point conversion pass with under 4 minutes left helped the Red Raiders upset number 5 Houston 22-21. 1979, big day for Chuck Heinz. Big, huge day for Chuck Heinz.
1979?
1979. Pat Summerall and John Madden broadcast a game together for the very first time. A TV pairing that would last 22 years and become one of the most well-known partnerships in TV sports broadcasting history.
I got to be honest with you. When they took Tom Brookshire away from Pat Summerall, I was disappointed. That was not a historic. That was a disappointing day for me.
Do you still look at it as a disappointing day?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You don't think that those two guys did good together?
Yeah, no, they did great. They did great together. I just love.
And for a guy all about the broadcasters and not about the game,
I know
nobody did it better than those two.
No, they were really. But remember, I was an AFC guy, so I spent a lot of time with Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen in those years.
Sure.
Yeah.
1986, A's Jose Canseco wins the AL Rookie of the Year. No word on if his doctor also won Rookie of the Year. In 2016.
Yeah, again, you've got the two backs with Mahomes in between them. He is signaling to the receivers. The near side, that's Tony Brown. And Mahomes steps back, going to throw it to the end zone. Right side, up high for it is Dylan Cantrell. Touchdown, Red Raiders!
That is Patrick Mahomes' final touchdown for the Red Raiders that he threw as part of a 586-yard performance with 6 touchdowns in a 54-35 rout of the Baylor Bears in Arlington.
Kind of ironic that it went to his high school teammate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
look at the White House Wildcats just tearing it up right there.
Does that need to get added to our Hall of Fame list for our highlight reels? It is Pat's final touchdown in a season where you finished 5-7.
We lost that game, right?
No, we won that one.
We won that one.
Doesn't feel like a highlight moment.
Yeah, it didn't sound like
Hall of Fame
much.
moment, I should say.
Yeah,
Didn't sound like much.
Well, it's also it's got 2 great Red Raiders mentioned in it.
Yeah.
And there would be there would never be another touchdown from Pat after that.
He's thrown some in the NFL.
Yeah, but those don't count for us. 2019, Baltimore's second-year quarterback Lamar Jackson becomes the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 3,000 yards passing and rush for 1,500 yards in his first 2 NFL seasons as the Ravens beat the Rams 45-6. It is National Parfait Day. You can tell it's a parfait? It has layers. Everybody loves a good parfait.
I did not know that. That's the official ruling?
You haven't seen Shrek in a while. Ogres are like onions, they have layers. Donkey replies, why can't they be like a parfait? Everybody loves a parfait. Because it's the layer, it's the ice cream and chocolate and whatever. Anyway.
I watched Monsters, Inc. Friday night.
Good movie. Very good movie.
I think it was Monsters. It was one of the Minion things.
That's not Monsters, Inc. It was a Minions movie.
Happy birthday, former Red Raider. Baseball player.
Swing and a miss.
Nathan Carnes is 33 today. Christina Applegate, 53. Joey Chestnut, 41. Amy Grant, 64. John Larroquette, 77. Nick Swisher is 44. Bucky Dent, 73. Donovan McNabb, 48. Chris Carter, 50. Chris Carter, 59. And Lenny Moore, 91 and still kicking.
Lenny Moore, who I believe threw a touchdown pass in Super Bowl V to help the Baltimore Colts beat the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, it was the Jim O'Brien field goal that won it for him.
And on this day, after a howling wind and rainstorm on Thanksgiving Day, Washington's historic floating Lacey V. Murrow Memorial Bridge breaks apart and sinks to the bottom of Lake Washington, between Seattle and its suburbs to the east. Because the bridge's disintegration happened relatively slowly, news crews were able to capture the whole thing on camera, broadcasting it to a rampant audience across western Washington. One onlooker was quoted as saying it looked like a big old battleship that was being hit by enemy fire and was sinking into the briny deep. It was awesome. That's a direct quote.
Nobody hurt.
Fortunately, no one was injured in the accident, and the Murrow Bridge was soon rebuilt. It was a floating bridge that was bolted together.
Sure.
And then it wasn't anymore.
Yeah.
Floating or bolted together.
Yeah.
And that, this day sports history.
All right, it is time for your lucky local winning word, so you can win this week like Ethan Evans did on Friday, and we'll give away some cash on Wednesday and Friday. As on December the 5th, we'll give away $2,500. Plus, we'll have some bonus gifts and some gift cards. All right, all different kinds of things we'll do at Two Docs on Thursday, December the 5th. So please put that on your calendar. But today's lucky local winning word from Double T 97.3 and the home zone is touchdown. Just simply touchdown. The Red Raiders scored a lot of touchdowns in the ball game on Saturday. The Red Raiders gave up a lot of touchdowns on Saturday against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. But the Oklahoma State Cowboys did not score enough touchdowns to defeat the Red Raiders on Saturday. Thank goodness. Touchdown is your lucky local winning word this morning at 6:53 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Okay.
There was a very famous touchdown on July 20th, 1969.
Yes, there was.
Different kind of touchdown.
Different kind of touchdown. Let's
Although
see.
both included a really long play.
Jamie, how about that performance by Jalen Conyers? Wish we would have used him more.
I thought all your tight ends, all three of them, were good on Saturday. They really all factored in to you winning that football game. But I think one of my favorite plays of the season was that 4th and 1. Taj coming across and turning the corner, and there was nobody there, and Jalen was running side by side with him, cheering the whole way, and then high-fived him before he even got into the end zone. I thought that was terrific, but a great play call by Coach Kitley. Great job by the offensive line to seal it, and oh my goodness, Oklahoma State, did you look silly on that one?
That play, by the way, in the Hall of Fame highlight reel.
Yeah, that was awesome. Conyers high-fiving him before he scored even was so good. So good.
Yeah. It is just before 7 this morning. Here on the Morning Drive, we will continue to entertain your thoughts, comments, reactions to the sporting weekend on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. You can vocalize them as well on the Visual Edge IT hotline. That number just for your use, and put it in your contact in your phone, 806-771-0973. It is
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Thank you for being with us today on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. Let me ask you this question, since apparently I'm full of questions this morning. Would you sacrifice or be up for one less regular season game if you had a 32-team or 24-team playoff?
Yes.
Sure.
Yep.
Don't you think there's, and I don't know the economics of this, of if there's more money that way or not, but it would seem to me that there might be an opportunity to make more doing that than kind of what we have right now.
Yeah, what if you're one of those teams that has the bye, if you're talking about a 24, though?
Yeah. If you do the 32, I mean, you still would have, that would mean there'd be no buys, but it would give you 16 home sites, maybe for the first 2 rounds. I don't know. At some point, because what you said earlier, Jamie, with regard to the trickle down of money and trying to come up with, this next year, the amount that you can revenue share is $21 million. Well, that number is going to have to grow each year to support all the sports that you want to, and in a certain fashion, because you're going to dedicate X amount to football, and then then the trickle down is below that. Probably the largest amount is going to obviously be football. Then the next largest, men's basketball, and then it just probably falls off a cliff from there.
Pretty much. Yep.
In your 32-game format, would you do 2 rounds at home or just 1 at home?
Wherever you can make the most money.
Well, we got to worry about the sanctity of the bowl system now too. So, do we move the second round of those bowl games? I
don't think you have to.
Well, no, we have to. We've heard that too many times in the chat line for it not to be true. The sanctity of the bowls. But if we did the first round at home, you then do the bowl games in the second round that go 16-8, and then you get into the college football playoff as it currently sits.
I think as you go through this college football playoff scenario with these 12 teams this year, and then you expand the playoffs at some point in time pretty quickly, I think the, quote, sanctity of the bowl is going to go as people drop off, whether it's attendance or viewership and sponsorship, those three things, it's all going to go away.
But it can't.
Well,
no, it can't.
Yes,
because there's history there that we have to go back and get in all these great bowl games.
Okay.
Dripping with sarcasm, Chuck.
Yeah,
I
know you are. But I think at some point in time, because right now Texas Tech is projected to be in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl on December the 26th. The projection is for them to play Nebraska in Phoenix. How many people are going to leave here, with the exception of friends and family, on Christmas night or even before, to go to Phoenix to watch a bowl game?
Yeah, it feels like if bowl games were smarter and they cared, they would not, and it mattered about attendance, which clearly it doesn't. It's about ESPN's viewership and all that good stuff. But they would say, you know what? Let's not do games on the 26th.
Yeah.
It's not.
You just kind of wonder what are they thinking there.
Yeah. But it's about viewership, not who's buying tickets to those events. And so we know it makes sense because on the 26th, sure, if you're sitting around the house, I'm going to watch games.
You're going to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about.
And if my team wasn't playing then, I'd be like, man, why are there no games on the 26th?
The ESPN projectors for the bowl. That was CBS. Jerry Palm, Mark Schlabach has Texas Tech playing LSU in the Texas Bowl. We've seen that game. And then another ESPN guy, God, I hope this doesn't happen, has Texas Tech playing Vanderbilt. And maybe people would be more up for this on Friday, January the 3rd, in the First Responder Bowl at Gerald J. Ford Stadium, which is on SMU's campus there in Dallas.
I hate the thought of playing in Dallas or Fort Worth.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's for the guys, for the team.
Yeah.
You probably would end up having more fans that would just say, it's in town. I can just go to the game and then come home.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm out a bunch of money.
Right. Trying to go to Phoenix but I mean, if you did go to the Texas Bowl, God, I would like it to be somebody other than LSU, although they don't have that same running back that's running down your throat like he did.
I don't remember that. I just remember Patrick running for his life.
Well, there was that
before
too.
The snap.
There's before this. Before,
and then they snapped it. And then he was really in trouble.
Before the
and
snap.
Yet he kept completing passes somehow.
Yeah. Well, that's because he's Patrick Mahomes, right? Yeah. Somebody asked this question, and it's fair. What bothers me is that SMU is having success, and here we are with another failed season, another bumbling coaching staff, getting key players injured before the season even begins, terrible play calling, terrible defensive scheme, poor quarterback play compounded by offensive line issues. Such a disappointing season again.
Man.
And there's a lot of negativity there.
Okay. That's sentence number one.
Mm-hmm.
Bothers me is SMU is having success. I don't love that SMU is having success. What bothers me is we're not having more success. Okay. With another failed season, I'm sorry, I can't call this one a failed season. I call it disappointing, missed opportunity, all the above. I can't call it a failed season.
Yeah.
Bumbling coaching staff, getting key players injured. I don't know how that's the coaching staff's fault, how they got the players injured.
Just happens.
People get injured. And some teams have good luck, some teams have bad luck, and we've seemed to be on a run of bad luck. Although, knock on wood, your quarterback has stayed healthy for the most part this year. Terrible play calling, terrible defensive schemes. I think there's been trouble at times in those areas. I think at times it's been really good this year. I thought Coach Kitley specifically on the offensive side of the ball called a great game on Saturday. Thought it was really, really good. I don't know if it's the defensive scheme. I'm not smart enough to know, or if it's just your defensive players aren't good enough. That still falls back on the coaching staff because you recruited them and you coach them up.
Well, and you've had a bunch of injuries on that side of the ball, too.
Sure, and we heard all about how much depth you had. Poor quarterback play compounded by offensive line issues. I think your quarterback has been good. He hasn't been great every game.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado was a game where I thought probably his worst of the year. Washington State was probably his worst. Colorado wasn't great, but I think he's been very good. Very good. Okay. Offensive line issues. Yep, they're there. I mean, we have to focus on recruiting better on the offensive line.
And he said on Thursday he was going to swing for the fences, which I guess means get out your checkbook.
Yep. So I don't know. You're definitely. I'll agree with you on some of the stuff, but I think you're way more negative than you need to be at this point.
Yeah. A person asked what needs to happen for Tech to host a bowl game. All you have to do is get into the college football playoffs and be in that, seeding aspect of where you're the higher seed.
Nobody hosts bowl games.
Do you host a college football playoff?
Right.
Yeah.
The question is, what does have to happen for Tech to host a bowl game? Nobody hosts bowl games.
Nobody does. No, you're exactly right. But
is he referring to there being a bowl at TCU Stadium and SMU Stadium? If that's the case, Paul, yeah, you get a sponsor to pay for it, and they can make it happen.
I'd just rather host a playoff game.
Yes, but that was not what the question was.
I understand that. I was trying to make that the question, though, but you're right. That wasn't the question.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Okay, so there's two ways to look at things here. We all know what the most negative thing in our mind is right now about this Red Raider football season, and that's the disappointment of you were so close to being in a Big 12 championship game, right? Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
An overriding thought, I think, of every Red Raider fan, no matter how positive or negative you are, you're going to say, man, we coulda, shoulda, woulda. I mean, we were so close, right?
Ifs and buts, candy and nuts.
Yeah, right. So close. But I want us to flip to the positive side of things. Okay? And I just want you to tell me what you've been the most happy about, the most positive thing you think this year with the Red Raider football team.
Well, I think that for me, one of the things that we talked about at the very start of the season, storylines, was what about the road? Do the road woes end? I mean, you won 3 road games this year. Winning, this past weekend at Oklahoma State. And, of course, you've got the win over Iowa State and the win over Arizona. And, if you'd have said at the start of the year, hey, you're going to win 3 of your 4 Big 12 road games, you're like, man, sign me up for that. So I would say your ability to win on the road against at least 2 quality opponents in Arizona and Iowa State.
And another one against a team that wasn't necessarily good, but a team that you've had struggles with.
It's been a den of demons, no doubt.
And Oklahoma State, so yeah.
So this is like a warm fuzzy, is what my mom used to call them. Makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside. Every time Taj Brooks carries the ball for the Red Raiders, he increases his all-time rushing record at Texas Tech. For a guy who is all about business. And what I mean by that, you never see him. He's never been in trouble here. He's never been a guy that you look at that's a me guy. He is a lunch pail, going to work, humble guy to root for. And he's wearing the red and black for you. And he's your all-time leading rusher. And if you need a better reason to root for the Red Raiders, I can't point to one bigger than Taj Brooks. as a player, as a historical figure for Texas Tech with regards to numbers, and as a human being. That's a good dude to root for. And he chose to come here and stay here.
Okay. I think that's a good one. I think both of yours are good. The road wins are, positive because it's been such a struggle. And Taj Brooks is a good reason to feel good about things and all that. I guess mine's contingent on you winning on Saturday, but I don't know. I just feel like 8-4. That's a real winning season. 8-4 is a real winning season. 7-5 feels like I know it's winning, but it's just like you've done that. You've just barely got there. Yeah. 8-4 feels like a real season. I mean, you win 2 out of 3 every time. Maybe it's the baseball guy in me. It's like 2 out of 3. You took the weekend.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
8-4 feels like a real winning season to me. At the beginning of the year, I actually picked 8-4. That's not that's why I'm happy about it. I've just it definitely feels different than I thought it would at the beginning of the year. Yeah. But if you get to 8-4, to me that's, I don't know, that's where real teams live. Real football teams live. They hang out with, every year we get to 8 wins in the regular season, and maybe that leads to a bowl win, and you're 9-4, and then you talk about 9 wins in a season. That doesn't happen very often. So I just think the simple, 8 regular season wins. That's winning 2 out of every 3. That feels to me like that's where the real football teams live, and I think we've been hanging out in the wannabe football teams category at 7-5 and all that good stuff. So 8-4 seems way more like a legit winning football team.
Well, and then here's the other thing too: is if you add on to that in the bowl game and win that, now you're 9-4, and does that help you with some recruits that are, or some transfer opportunities that are on the fence to go, hey, I want to go someplace where I have a chance to win and to win a Big 12 championship or get to a college football playoff. Does that help you?
God, I wish that still mattered.
Well,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that anymore.
I don't think. Well, I think the money and the amount that you're going to pay matters. Certainly, it matters. But I also think the opportunity to showcase yourself if you're trying to get to the next level. If you're being paid a certain amount of money, then your expectation is that you're going to play beyond college in your own mind. And then to do that, you want to play for somebody or play for a team that's going to allow you to have the opportunity to showcase yourself a little bit and be able to build on yourself a little bit. And you've got to have some facilities and wherewithal and opportunity to do that. So it can't always just be about the money. It's going to be a big factor. There's no question about it. But it can't always be the very, very, very first thing.
Well, I'm sure
everybody.
What you are saying makes sense, Chuck. But I'm sure for some of these kids, it is.
I understand that.
It is. It is the one deciding factor. Why do you think Coach McGuire said we're going to get out our checkbook, right? Because we're going to
swing for the fences. But yeah, that's
swing for the fences. You're right.
But that's what he meant by that.
Okay, I mean that means we're going to money whip somebody, some people.
Well, and certainly others have done that too. I mean. You're going to have other people you're going to have to outdo. But I mean, others have outdone you. Look at what Indiana's done, or look at what other schools have done. I mean. Because you're not a traditional power like Ohio State or Michigan or Alabama.
They're money whipping people too.
They are, but they also have a pretty solid, resume of credibility and success, and those players know that, hey, if I go there, I'm going to get to be in some pretty high profile games, which is going to put me on maybe a little bit higher vein than others.
Indiana is the most intriguing team in this whole college football playoff thing to me. I mean, because they have beaten hardly anybody.
Yeah, I was really glad to see them get
And
beat.
They beat Michigan, but Michigan is not Michigan this year. And then they just get depantsed by Ohio State on Saturday, and I don't know if they should be in the playoff or not. But they're 10-1. It's crazy.
It is.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
And thank you for being with us today on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3. Jamie, Jeff, and I. We come to you from the First United Bank studio here on the campus of Double T 97.3. You like it that? Campus or compound?
I'm fine with either.
You fine with either? Okay. Yates Flooring Center chat line is open. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app for that. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. Red Raiders won on Saturday, 56-48. The next face the West Virginia Mountaineers at 11 o'clock. Your favorite game time, Jamie, to end the season.
Sure is.
So there you go. You get. Did you wish upon a star for that, or did it just...
I did not.
It just kind of happened that way.
I did not.
Didn't use one of your genie wishes for that? No? Did
not.
Okay. The Mountaineers were victorious on Saturday as they defeated Central Florida, or UCF, 31-21 in Morgantown. One thing that I read this week was that, or this weekend was, if West Virginia wins, 70% likelihood that Neil Brown is retained. If West Virginia loses, 30% likelihood that Neil Brown is retained.
This weekend or last weekend?
This weekend. If he wins on Saturday, that would be their seventh win. They're bowl eligible right now. There's a 70% likelihood that he would be retained. Should he lose, his team lose, only a 30% likelihood that he would be retained. So,
okay.
And then the speculation is still pretty heavy that the next coach at West Virginia is going to be Jimbo Fisher, because he's one of theirs.
It's a speculation from like people in the know, or speculation from you?
Speculation, people in the know, or fans, or just media, or things like that. I mean that's kind of what that looks like. It's not. I mean, I've said that because I feel like that's what's going to happen. But at any rate, we'll
feel like you've been pining for that.
I'm not really pining for that. I liked Neil Brown. I like him. I just think that's a bad fit for him. Okay.
Why is that?
Because those people up there, man, they're like, and I shouldn't say this. They're like anybody else. They want one of theirs to coach their team, or somebody that they perceive as one of theirs, whether it's one of theirs in terms of alumni, one of theirs from their state, one of theirs from their hometown, from their area. That by and large, Carolina people want somebody from Carolina. Minnesota people want somebody from Minnesota. Texas people want somebody from their part of the state, or specifically their school. That's what they want.
I think it's more about them just wanting to win.
Well, you want to win, but it's especially special
Sure.
if you win with somebody that's one of yours.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. And I'd seen this too.
But I think winning's the most important thing.
Winning cures all ills.
Well, I don't think you care where he's from or who he went to college, where he went to college, if he wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Winning cures all ills.
Where did Joey McGuire go to college?
Wasn't Texas Tech. It was like...
I mean, Grant McCasland went to Baylor.
I know.
Okay, we're fine
winning
with that. Just win.
I know, because
he's doing a good job with our program. We're happy.
Right. No,
I'll do you one, babe. Do you one better.
Mm-hmm.
Who's one of our favorite coaches on campus? Greg Sands. Where'd he go to school?
TCU. Ick.
No.
One of our other favorite coaches? Tom Stone.
He went to Duke. Yeah. No. Again, Joey McGuire's alma mater is UT Arlington.
Okay.
Yeah. This, and I'd seen this per X. The West Virginia Board of Regents has given West Virginia Athletics Director permission to terminate Neil Brown at the end of the season, regardless of a win or loss this weekend. It was in X, so it has to be accurate.
Yeah, it feels like if that's the case, if he's given him that at this point, then that's a done deal.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what
he's going to be out.
We'll see what happens. There's that. Go ahead.
Didn't Texas Tech and all of us, after it kind of happened, kind of come to the conclusion that if you're basing your keeping a coach on one game, you've already made the decision to fire him?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, if you're basing whether you're going to keep your coach because they win one specific game, then you need to fire your coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you're basing the decision on Neil Brown for West Virginia, fire him right now. Don't let him coach this last game. You've already made the decision.
Yeah.
By the way, winning season, by definition of college sports, last 2 years.
Yeah. Somebody says this. I think Chuck's point is that you get the benefit of the doubt when you are one of ours.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
I think so.
I would agree with that
I
too.
think there's some,
you can stick around a little bit longer.
You get a little justification.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree with that as well.
Yeah.
Because we want them to succeed, but we also want whoever we hire to succeed.
We've had this question a couple of times, and I don't know the answer to this question. Any word or news on the argument between Coach McGuire and special teams coach and associate head coach and running back coach Kenny Perry? I don't know, but it's well known. Coach McGuire has made no bones about it. Kenny Perry's his best friend, and Kenny Perry's made no bones about it. He's here because of Joey McGuire, and he's admitted this. This is the first place, because he loves being here in his coaching career, that he's bought a house in the place where he's coaching. So I just view it as, two coworkers, getting into it with each other for whatever reason, and I have no idea what happened.
Yeah, I think football coaches and basketball coaches, baseball coaches, whatever, there's emotion that goes into those things, and they're going to yell and scream at each other at times. You may not see it all the time, but they get onto each other. They get angry with each other in the heat of the battle, and I bet neither one of them thought anything more of it after it happened.
I'm willing to bet you could ask both of them right now what it was about. They're like, we argued?
Yeah, I don't even remember. They probably remembered yelling at each other, but they don't remember what it was about or what was said or whatever. It's just, I wouldn't read into that at all.
Congratulations to our friend and longtime texter Racer26. He says it was a great weekend as Junior came a month early, but all is good.
Awesome. Congratulations, Grandpa.
Congrats, Racer26. Keep us in the loop.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.